Another day, another video. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this one is a bit of a vulnerable one because I'm not sure I'm done like trying to figure out what my relationship with this thing is, but let's just have like an open conversation about it. Hopefully other people can kind of relate to it and just revisit how they view it. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Widj-Gaëlle and we're gonna jump right into it because I hate long intros. Okay, so today I want to talk about my toxic relationship with social media, who's not so toxic anymore. In college, I think I should back it up. All of this kind of started when I started doing music, and for some sort of reason, I felt entitled to getting views on the stuff that I was doing. I felt entitled to people's support. I felt entitled to people valuing what I felt was meaningful. And so in college, I released this is a crazy throwback. So just brace yourself. I used to be on Snapchat, kind of making these freestyle, like, kind of cover. I deserve more than you can offer me. I would just like be singing and making up melodies. Before I knew I had like a deep songwriting kind of skill set that God wanted me to kind of work on and, just get better at. I used to just kind of come up with melodies and post them on Snapchat, and I would give them like fake titles. And I called it, every one of these tracks, I called it the Imaginary EP. And the reason why I called it the Imaginary EP, I can't believe I'm telling you guys this story. It's so old. I would call it the Imaginary EP because I knew it was never going to come out. All of these like potential tracks, potential kind of things, I'd be like, oh, this is so cool. So I would place it in this Imaginary EP, and this kind of became like a concept that I was running with on Snapchat. It's on Snapchat. It's not really necessarily picking up pace, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Like, it's not like I'm getting more views or whatsoever. And at some point, I don't know what took over me. I know what happened. I had a friend in high school. We stayed friends even after high school slightly, until, life happens and people just kind of go on their own paths and you don't talk to those people as much as you used to. That's another video. Lord, that transition is weird. Me and her told each other, because we were kind of like creatives, and we told each other, hey, at this specific date, we're going to both be releasing something that has to do with something creative. It was kind of like an accountability partnership. I ended up going, you know what, I need to, like, it's kind of like I felt the weight of the yes that I gave. And this is why, look at me. Don't do it. If you don't say yes to things you really want to say no to. I felt the weight of my yes. My yes had to be a real yes. Because we had came to this agreement where we both told each other, hey, this has to be something we actually do. I end up kind of literally like a couple of days before, I put a couple of things together. Together quickly, and I end up releasing this couple of tracks on SoundCloud. I give it like this cover. I'll try to find evidence of the story. Fear not, for he is with you. I put this thing together, create this kind of cover, and I call it the Imaginary EP off my concept and release it to the world. When I tell y'all this was a trash project, some people might feel like I'm being harsh on myself, but from the moment I released it and it started getting like a couple of reposts and things like that, I knew how little work I had put into that project. And from there, I really believe like from there, because I knew I had released a trash project, everything after that, I just never wanted to release something that had such poor quality again. In some ways, that's what kind of began me putting projects out and things out like that. I've never done an album. I've done a lot of EPs, a lot of mixtapes, arrangement of songs and things like that, but I've never released an album, which, hey, hopefully I do that in the future, in the near future. All of that happens, and that's kind of where my relationship with social media kind of started. And I used to play keys. Well, I still play the piano. And I started just putting my creativity and my art on social media. I kind of started having this relationship where I felt like I don't get support. Where are my reposts? Where's people love toward me? I feel like people are being fake. I did my best to hold myself together during that time, but it really did something in my heart. Like, I really wanted people to see the art that I was making, the projects that I was coming out with. Without noticing it, there was people being impacted by some of the things that I was doing, but I wanted the views to match the level of hours I had put in. You hear me? I wanted the late nights to actually feel like something was happening. And that 2 views for 3 weeks after I put in 24 hours into this, and I then edited and put a filter and then put it in black and white and then written the lyrics myself. If you don't give me at least 20 views, quickly. I was trying to make the algorithm work in my favor without necessarily like knowing what the algorithm was doing. It was a very confusing time in terms of like how I was attributing the value. So my value was literally linked to the amount of views that I would get. If it wasn't getting an amount of views and an amount of response and comments and just fire emojis, I just felt like I wasn't being supported that much. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of creative going through that where you feel like you're in seasons of your life where nobody's seeing you, nobody's noticing none of the stuff that you're doing. It's giving ghetto, 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 ghetto. And you cannot wait for that time where people are going to notice your gift, notice the things that you do, so you can kind of feel validated in that. And I didn't realize that there was just a lack of growth in me. There was just a lack of, I didn't understand the need for me to be hidden during the time of development. I just wasn't realizing how much I needed to mature in those gifts and mature in those tools, mature in that creativity, mature in those things. I just wanted people's applause as soon as possible because I feel like I gave in my 56,000 hours and I just need y'all to be clapping very, very, very quickly after because I didn't put in the work. So put in the work and clap your hands. I wanted people to make a noise. I wasn't validated enough in the process of what I was doing. If the outcome on Instagram or on Facebook or on SoundCloud wasn't giving like views being consumed, I would have an issue with that. I made songs about it, struggling about that and trying to act like I don't care, but oh, baby, I cared. I cared so much. It's like I go and I try to, you try to push through and act like you don't care, like it is what it is. But I did care. And I just realized like at some point that relationship that I was having with social media and that platform was really getting to me. It was affecting me to a point where I was like, you know what, I need to rethink this. I kept seeing this post on Instagram, and maybe you guys have already seen it where it was like unfollow people who do not inspire you. That kind of spiraled me into a train of thoughts where I started thinking, what really inspires me about being on this app? Serve me with? What do I want to be fed with on this app? What are the things that I can do to not, remain in this state forever? I just felt like it was not working out. If you're a creative, you can kind of have this dilemma. You no longer want to create because you feel like what you create is not being noticed. You're tagging the whole world and it's still your mama and them. It's still your mama and that cousin who's so proud of you. You know who these two reposts are and you're sad about because you don't feel like that's enough. I know that feeling. I had to revisit what it was, like what my relationship with social media was. So I made a very drastic decision in college and I unfollowed everybody. Y'all, like looking back at that, that was what's the water? That was a pivotal moment of my relationship with social media. Like I broke up with everybody. It was like unfollow, 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 unfollow. I need to rethink this. I need to rethink why I'm following. I need to rethink why I'm on this platform. I need to rethink why I'm posting about this creative stuff and I want people to support. I need to rethink this because it's not healthy to me. Like I would go to bed just thinking, hey, you suck. You suck, bro. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this no more. It's not reaching. It's not connecting. It's not connecting. From that point, I also took a lot of time away from social media. I think I just was following maybe one or two people. And that's when I noticed certain things. Here are certain things that I did notice about taking time away from social media. And not as a spiritual thing, like trying to reconnect with the Lord. This wasn't one of those fasting where you guys still eat and take away social media. That's not a fast. But that's neither here or there. That is not a fast. Fast involves food. Take away the food. The other stuff that is detoxing. Not the same thing. Okay to do? Okay. One thing I noticed is that the scrolling can come to an end. The continuous scroll does stop. At some point on Instagram or on, I don't know if the other apps were like that, but I really did it for Instagram. At some point on Instagram, like you've seen all the posts that you had to see. And so there's nothing new to consume. So by reducing the amount of people I was following, I also reduced the amount of things I could consume. And I was like, I never knew that the scrolling could stop. I had done a work in college where I was talking about the amount of time that people consume social media, and the average time, according to very old stats, I don't know if it's still accurate, but it would be like people would be on social media for 8 hours a day. Like just quick math. If you're spending 8 hours on social media, that you need 8 hours of sleep approximately, because we get even less than that because social media be taking over your sleep as well. If I am in school almost 8 hours and trying to eat, trying to do my homeworks in the midst of that, when do I have time for anything else? And so I just began to question how I was spending my time as well. I was like, hold on, let me go ahead and look up how much time I was spending average. I think I was going for like at least like 4 to 6 hours on social media where I was scrolling, posting. I was just on social media a lot. I don't have the time. It's just so much things happening. No, you have 24 hours and you're choosing to spend that time on social media. There were certain things that were important to me that I had time for. I just never put them as a priority of things that I really wanted to put time in. And I also noticed that there were friendships that were only dependent on social media. That's the part that might get uncomfortable for certain people. It was people that as soon as I unfollowed, that was it. The relationship was over. Like there was nothing else I could do, talk about. It was like I had just disowned them. Some people actually had conversation with me about, is anything going on? Because I noticed you unfollowed everyone. Like, you good? So I appreciate people who did that, but not a lot of people did that. And I thought I had a bit more like connection or of a friendship with certain people, and it just completely died. Another thing I noticed taking time away from social media was like how I was way more intentional about my discussion with people. I hadn't noticed that by being subscribed to my friends and to all the people I was around in school, I felt like I was consuming their lives without their consent. I felt like I knew everything there was to know about your day to day without asking you. And of course, they kind of gave me permission by posting it on their Instagram or Snapchat, because there was a period of time people were filming everything from the meals to the birthday parties, the cars they were into, to the address they would go to. You would go to a restaurant before anybody touched their plate. That Snapchat got to go up. A part of me kind of felt uneasy about it because I'm hungry. Let me eat. Unhand me from the shackles of your Snapchat. I had no longer any questions to ask my friend. It was like starting to have an impact on my actual relationship. Like I had nothing else to say to you because I know everything you did yesterday. I can't ask you how was last night? How's your mom doing? How's this? How's that? Because everything was posted. I didn't feel like I needed to know anything more about your relationship or about your day to day because I just watched it. By taking time away from social media, I noticed like, yo, I don't know what you did yesterday. I don't know how you felt yesterday. I didn't watch any of your story because I don't know. I'm going to actually mean to ask. I just felt like I was regaining back control of my relationship and how intentional I was being in them. Once I spent enough time away from social media, detoxing from social media it was good. True healing is not avoiding. You didn't hear me in the back. True healing is not avoiding the issue. Social media is not going to disappear. So I needed to actually get to a point where I could learn to live with an Instagram account without it being detrimental to my mental health, detrimental to my sleep, detrimental to my view of myself. So I gave it a purpose. Social media to me is not a means of communication. If I need to communicate with someone, I'm going to get their phone number. All of these extracurricular tasks that Instagram was, I begin to take back those rights. It's no longer a means of communication. It's no longer a means to be approved by people. That's not where I'm going to seek my validation from. I kind of treat Instagram as a workplace, things of that sort. Yeah. So I think in the end, it's kind of finding those things that do affect you, finding the real root of those issues. And because it's not social media, it's not the issue. I think sometimes it just amplifies certain things that were already there. That's a whole other conversation. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I hope you enjoyed this topic. I didn't think I would ever talk about this because I wasn't sure if I would overcome or get over or get past that hurdle in terms of life. But I'm really in a space where I feel healthier. I hope to see you in the next video. I love you. I care. And I will see you in the next video. Yeah. Deuces.